Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm going to give you guys a review of how the floating dip tube works, and I'm actually going to do a quick run through of how to install it again. If you want to see a more in-depth version, check out the video in the card above. So I got a brand new torpedo keg. This thing is rad, and it's the first actually new keg I've ever had, so I'm very excited. And I'm gonna install a floating dip tube. The dip tube's actually made by Torpedo as well, so you know it's meant for this kind of keg. So I'm just gonna quickly put it on. I've already sanitized everything. Just gonna give you guys a quick little run through again, and then I'm going to transfer my double IPA into it, and I'll show you guys how clear it is. For the review portion, I'm going to show you two different beers that I've used the floating dip tube for. One is my Road Sody IPA, which is a single IPA, pretty standard, Mosaic Simcoe, and then the double it's a version of a double IPA that I modified Ninkasi's Tricera hops to make, so it's really good. That their double IPA is like one of my favorites, so obviously I had to try to replicate it, and it always turns out great. So really excited to drink it. I'm actually gonna burst carb it so that we can drink it tomorrow, hopefully. I don't know, we'll see if it works out. But with the floating dip tube, it should be pretty clear even if we do drink it tomorrow. So let's just get to it. We are all set. That was pretty painless. I'm just going to re-sanitize this whole keg and, you know, transfer right into it. Oh, I guess I got to put my lid back on. Don't forget to put your peg back on because then it won't work. Alrighty, that looks great. Very tight on there. Just re-sanitize that. Okay, so I'm just gonna dump the sanitizer and then we can get transferring. The first beer we're gonna look at is my Road Sody IPA that I brewed as an extract version. Usually I do all grain, but let's check it out. So it's not super clear. It is a beautiful color, obviously. But I think we're getting more into the yeast, and I had to just hook this up this morning, so I probably stirred it up a bit, but you know, it's not like muddy, yeasty. It's more of a like color. It smells really good. It smells like Mosaic. Holy shit, it tastes amazing. This beer is good. Even though there is haze in this, it actually might be biotransformation like my double IPAs is. But I think what's in the can that I'm going to show you is actually clearer, and that's from the top. So basically, I canned right after I put this on tap the first time. Actually pulled it off to add some different things because I knew that I wanted to do a review of it and I just didn't have time. So I wanted to make sure no one drank it all. So let's open up the can and we can compare and contrast between top of the keg and bottom of the keg with the floating dip tube. Okay, so for the draft, beautiful white head. I mean, it's kind of like a cream colored white head. It's a little opaque on draft. Let's look at this color. It's pretty ambery orange to me. See if you guys can get a better idea of the color with the light. and the haze. All right, so let's open up the can and see what the difference is. I'm actually going to swirl this can around so that any trube or anything that could throw off our results about how clear it is actually mixed in. This beer was pulled off the top of the keg a few days after I kegged it, I believe. And we're just gonna see how clear it is in comparison. So this is significantly clearer. I think we're just running into the fact that the on draft, it's hitting the part where the yeast and the trube is. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but so this, it's definitely more orange. Here, let's see. It's got, I mean, it's not crystal clear still. I think there was some hop biotransformation that caused it, but there is significantly less haze. So the color is, it's pretty much the same. I would say it's got a little more orange, but I think it's just because I can see more light through it. So let's check the second beer out. It's the double IPA that I transferred into that torpedo keg, AKA Please Don't Light Me on Fire IPA. So this beer is hazy, obviously, but we've got a floating dip tube in there. So why? Why is the question. And the thing that the floating dip tube actually prevents is picking up yeast. So it's not going to prevent haze if your haze is caused by biotransformation from the hops. So the way I dry hopped this one is I did it 3 days into fermentation. So it was high Krausen, and the yeast were still super active. So when I dumped my hops in, it pushed all the oxygen out because of the yeast, you know, farting CO2. And that's what gives us our beautiful color. And it's really nice to have a hazy. I feel like whenever I have a hazies, I can never tell if it's yeast doing it or if it's the biotransformation. But this is what a hazy should look like. Like, unless you're, you know, adding a bunch of protein to it, like just wheat flour or something. Because this is all caused by biotransformation, and this makes a really juicy IPA because of the biotransformation. So I really love my floating dip tubes. You know, I'm so happy I was like, I just need to break down and get them because I hate having yeast, and I like being able to drink a beer when I first put it on, like maybe 24 hours later, and not have it be, you know, just a mouthful of like spicy, gross yeast, whatever. And yeah, so 1 thumbs up for a floating dip tube, and you guys can get them below. And I've probably already bought them all out, but go ahead and try. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. # make beer clear again. So when I dumped my hops in, it pushed all the CO2 out, which is why we have this, so when I dumped my hops in, it put, as you can see, let's see if I can focus. Now, what they don't tell you about joining the BrewTube community is that you'll end up drinking beer at 8 a.m. and then try to save it with one of these weird lid things, and you'll just, you know, smushing everything